Well, good afternoon. It's a lovely Thursday afternoon. The sun is shining. There's not a cloud in the sky. The birds are out there just singing to beat the band. I think we've seen about 10 different species today, probably more than that have flown through. I just absolutely love those little canary ones. They're a yellow finch with black trim on its wings, and there's another one that's got the red markings on them. They keep flying through. But it's a beautiful day, and it's a wonderful day to craft. So I thought today we would work on our pine cones. And what I had done is, at the end of Christmas last year, I purchased a bunch of pine cones from Walmart. They had those cinnamon scented ones, so I took those and I purchased a bunch, and before they put the cinnamon in them, they seal them with some type of a lacquer to prevent them from coming apart, so they'll stay together for a long time, which is a good thing if you're having cinnamon, but it's a bad thing if you want to try and make some zinnias out of them. So my suggestion is, don't use the ones from Walmart. My suggestion is to grab some off of underneath a tree, find a pine cone somewhere under a pine tree and use those. But you can use any type of pine cone. They need to be open like this, at least. You can use this end of it. You can use this end of it, and everything in between. This particular one I would cut into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections and use that. And in order to cut them on a normal pine cone, you just take your regular little cutters like these and you put it inside here and you snip there. There's a long piece in the middle. See how you can see it here? There's a long piece in the middle. You just take it, and you want to use the flat part towards the base and just go inside here and snip until it comes loose. And then when that comes off, you'll have one that looks like this. This is the bottom. See, here's back side and the bottom. And you do that to the next section. So you'll have basically the same thing. It'll look like this one. And see how they already look like a flower? Well, you just keep doing that with each piece of your pine cone, cutting the sections up. And you don't really have to worry about cutting too much of the cone itself away, because like this one, see, it was rather dense in here, so I just pulled off some of these, which left it rather frayed there, which is good because whenever you cut it, it looks like these. So then we get it cut, go in with our cutters, and we cut right here. And we have this, or this. And then we have the tops that look like these, or the big bottoms. And once we have those, we get out some acrylic paints. I prefer to use the enamel acrylic paints because they last indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter, and they help coat the item, which these really didn't have to worry about being coated because they're pretty sealed already. But you can use like the multi-surface paints like this one from Hobby Lobby, and I just went over the outside of it. Do not use a good brush. Use one that has definitely seen better days, because this will eat up your brush going over it like this. And I like leaving some of the brown still showing. You can fill yours in if you want to, but I like having that darkness in the shadow. You can use this particular zinnia on this side where it looks more like a daisy, or on this side, and you just have to put the center in the flower there, like so, like so, like so. Now here's one that I have not put a center in, but you see where I've pulled this one away and it gives it like this, is it stamen? I think it's a stamen in the flower, the center part, the female part of the flower. This one I painted, and what I did with this one, I painted him dark blue first, and then I went over him with a dry brush with this teal color paint that you see here, being my favorite color, and just dry brushed over the top of it. I put some of the paint on it, and then I wiped it off on a paper towel where it didn't have much on there and just went over the tops, just like lightly. And I'll show you how that works. I'll do this one with the reverse. Let me get the paint out. This particular paint that I am using here, this is chalk paint. And like I said, you can use whatever you have. You don't have to go and buy something specifically for this. It's quarantine crafts, right? It's not we can go to Michael's anytime we want to crafts. So basically, let me move some of these off of here so you can see. We're going to dry brush it. So I've taken this and I'm wiping away towards just a dry brush, and we're going to go over and put some of this dark on the tips of these flowers. And you just keep going over the edge, and I may need some more on there. And you just give it some highlights on there. And like I said, this is the opposite of the dark one that's right here. This one was the dark down first with the light. This one's going to be the light with the dark. And I just think that by going over it like this and doing the dry brushing on it, it adds a lot to the flower. Gives it depth, makes it look like more of a real flower. More of a real flower, and you can see the veins in the flower better that way. Do not use your good brushes. I can't say that often enough. I have a couple of brushes on hand all the time. I have some of my favorites. This one was one of my favorites, but it has definitely seen better days. So it's retired to be used in places like this. Okay, so see how simple that was? It wasn't hard to do, and it's added a lot to that flower. Now we turn this over if we wanted to do this other side, and just go over the top of it. Just hitting the high points. So this will give us a low color, which would be that brown that's underneath there. It'll give us a middle tone, which is the teal, and then it'll give us the high color, which would normally, you would think that'd be a lighter color, but it's not, this darker blue. See, that gives it more depth. And then if we wanted to put our centers in, we just double load our brush with orange and yellow and dab it in there. And there we go. We've got our center to this particular flower. Maybe give it a little bit of white in there too. And this has already got the center, but we can do some accent to it. And see how easy that was. There's this lovely pine cone that is now a zinnia to go with this one. And then we have this one. It needs a center. While I still have that on the brush. And this one, I think, instead of it having a blue outside edge, let me close this blue so I don't end up with it in the floor. Instead of this having the blue outside edge, I think I will give this particular one maybe white. We'll just take this one and accent it in white. Doesn't take much, and I use a styrofoam plate off to the side here for my palette, so when I'm done I just throw it away. Just take it, get a little bit on your brush, so wipe it off, and then go over the edges of each one of these petals. I can't tell who's here with this being on my phone and me being the only one here. I just know that there's someone here, and welcome. I hope that you find this informative and something you might want to try. I think that these are the coolest looking things, and Dennis really loves zinnias. So for him to have zinnias all the time was my goal. Again, you do not want to use your good brushes for this. They will eat them. But use one that has seen better days. And I'm just putting some orange and some yellow in the center. So there's another one. This gives us 3 different variations of this blue. So we have the darker blue with the teal accents. And see how this one is? It's not the most beautiful thing on this side, but it looks really pretty here. And if you put this on a wreath, or if you used it on as an accent for something in your yard, a sign or whatever, this would be pretty. I mean, you put that with another one beside it and another one. Who knows what the back side of that looks like? It still looks like a zinnia. And then you have this one, the light blue with the dark blue accents. And then this one. So I don't just think you need to do blue. I mean, here's one that's done with, like, it started off with a peach, but with that brown underneath it, it gave it the browner color. So now this one, I think I will also do the accent with the white. See how that looks. Oh yeah. Just hit and miss where you think it might be getting some light. Since it's going to be a beautiful weekend, maybe you and your family could go somewhere for a walk in the woods, find some pine trees and collect some pine cones, and then come home and do this on a rainy day. Set them aside. Let them sit there until you're ready to do them. And on a rainy day, sit down with your family and make something for your yard, for your home. This one being a lovely peach, I think I'm going to take it, and I might even just make it, I'm looking for the red. I had some red. There it is. Might red tip this one. There is no wrong way to do this. None. These are yours. This is the way it's going to look for you. So whatever you do, it's going to be the right, and it's going to be pretty, and it's going to be yours. Just get out there and do it. Don't be afraid to step up and do it. What are you going to do? It didn't turn out, so you can throw a pine cone away or use it as a fire starter for your barbecue or something. That's the worst that's going to happen. Jump in there, get her done. Okay, so here we are. We have one that has some pretty red accents on it. Like I said, there's no wrong way to do these. It's what's right for you. And then we have these little ones that I'm going to paint and do those. But I just wanted to show you that you can take something as simple as a pine cone in your yard, or one that you found on a walk in the woods, and turn it into something to decorate your yard. Definitely needing some white ones. But you just use what you have, and you'd be amazed at what you can come up with. I mean, these are just pine cones, but yet they're zinnias that last forever. I hope that you have a wonderful day, that you enjoyed crafting with me. I hope that you remember that we're not alone in this. it gets kind of scary sometimes and very overwhelming. What's going to happen next? Our whole world got turned upside down in a matter of just a day. We go to bed one night and it's one way, we wake up the next, and the entire world is upside down. But we have to remember that God is our refuge and our strength, and He is a very present help in trouble. God is with us. He will never leave us alone. We will not be alone. He will be beside us through all of this. I pray that you have a wonderful weekend, that you stay well, and I thank you for coming. Goodbye. God bless.